To my daughter, I want you to believe deep in your heart that you are capable of achieving anything you put your mind to, that you will never lose. You either win or learn. Just go forth and aim for the skies. I can't promise to be here for the rest of your life, but I can promise to love you for the rest of mine. Love, Dad. Hi, welcome back to Life is a Treasure podcast. And if this is your first time listening, thank you so much and welcome here. I hope that you will subscribe, listen to other episodes, and reach out to me and let me know something that you've enjoyed from the podcast. I really appreciate it. Your words mean so much to me. This is episode number 35, and I'm Michelle Durand, the hostess of Life is a Treasure podcast. And on this episode, I'm going to be talking about father-daughter relationships. June is the month of Father's Day, and I thought it would be appropriate to discuss father-daughter relationships. And I am speaking on behalf of myself, who is a daughter to a father, and I also raised a daughter with a father. So I feel that I can speak on this topic pretty well. And I also want to just share, I am the founder of Tears to Treasures, and I started this organization back when I was working at a pregnancy resource center. And I will just share a little bit about that throughout the episode, because in my sessions with the clients, mostly the women, I realized a pattern that many of them had so many different father-daughter relationships that impacted their life either negatively or positively. And that's what led me to create this podcast today. Just thinking back and reflecting on how important and how much of an impact a father has in a daughter's life. And that relationship, in my opinion, should be at the top priority for any father who is raising a daughter. And I feel the same way about sons, but because I am a daughter and because I mostly work with women, I felt that it would be appropriate to create an episode about father-daughter relationships. So if you're a father, I really hope that some of these tips and this information can inspire you and encourage you no matter what stage of a father you're at. Whether your children are very young or babies, you can learn from this in how to raise your child into a self-sufficient adult woman. And if, let's say, your children are already grown out of the house, you might feel like, well, it's too late. I've already raised my child or my daughter and daughters, and they're out of the home. You can always go back to her and say, I am so sorry for the areas that I didn't do well. I did the best that I could with what I had, and offer your apology. And it can be so healing to your daughter's heart. It can change her life. And most importantly, it can change your relationship, because it's never too late until you're taking your last breath. And I don't want anyone to be taking their last breath with regrets. I believe that where life each day is giving us a new start and a do-over to make it a life that you can treasure. So I'd like to get started with a few of the key points that I want to talk about in regards to father-daughter relationships. And the first being that you are her only father. Yes, she may have stepfather, but you as a biological father, like you are her father. It's your responsibility to step into that role and to take that role very seriously, because it will impact your daughter for the rest of her life. Your responsibility is to nurture her emotionally from the time that she is a newborn baby. For the rest of her life, you as a father are given that opportunity to nurture this baby, this beautiful little girl, and then this beautiful grown woman. You have so much emotional support that you can pour into your daughter. So I really hope and encourage you to nurture her emotionally in any ways that you can. That all of these tips will help her to realize her self-identity, to believe in herself, to be able to say, I am enough. I am beautiful. I am worthy of respect, honor, dignity, and unconditional love for the rest of her life. And I hope that through this episode, it will cut down on emotional abuse, physical abuse, and mental abuse. And sexual abuse, because I've seen that a lot as well in pregnancy centers. Your job and your responsibility is also to support her physically. So yes, as a man, as a father, you're the provider, you are the protector. And being that protector, you have that opportunity to support your daughter physically, whether that's financially while she's growing up, whether that is giving her a hug and just supporting her and letting her know that you have her back no matter what. Teach your daughters healthy boundaries. This is extremely important. And I'm going to have an episode coming up really soon all about boundaries. But I'm just going to touch on it real quickly right here. Boundaries are to teach your daughter to respect herself and to demand that others respect her as well. The boundaries that you can offer your daughter is to give her space. If she's angry, if she's emotional, give her space if she wants to be alone and process those emotions. Give her her privacy. Everything that she thinks and writes in her diary, and that is not always your business. Like your daughter, she should have privacy in some capacity. And of course, this will start off, very small when she's smaller. And then as she grows, you should expand that and allow her to have her independence. Let her express herself. Listen to her. That is so important, to listen to your daughter in how she's feeling and what's happening. Because if you don't, she won't feel comfortable coming to you with bigger things. I always feel like when they know they can come to you for little things, they will come to you for big things. When they know they can come to you when they've messed up, they will always continue to come to you. But if you shut them out, or you try to tell them how to think or how to feel, they will shut down and they will block you out. So it's so important to have healthy boundaries for herself and also for you as well. So just that balance in boundaries is extremely helpful. Your role as a father is to teach her life skills. Teach her things that she's not going to learn in school. Teach her how to manage her money, how to balance her checking accounts, how to invest her money, how to invest her time, how to... my dad taught me how to change a tire. He taught me basic life skills that I will always remember. My dad also taught me how to respect myself and not allow anyone to walk all over me. That's another example of how to teach her how to emotionally support her own self. He allowed me to make decisions. He allowed me to fail, knowing that I would fail, but he was there to help me back up. And that's what raising children is about. That they're gonna fall. When they start walking, they're gonna fall. You're there to pick them up. Raise your children up physically, emotionally, spiritually. Teach her and allow her to grow and to become an independent adult. That is your role as a father, is to teach your daughter how to be an independent adult. Never withdraw your affection. I know that as little girls start developing and changing and becoming preteens and teenagers, a lot of men feel inappropriately that they shouldn't kiss their daughter, hug their daughter in public. I believe that each child is different. And if they need that affection, give it to them. When they want their space, they will let you know. But until they don't, continue doing what you do. Continue offering her affection. And a really good book on this topic is The 5 Love Languages. The 5 Love Languages of Children by Gary Chapman. And I will have the link in the show notes. An excellent resource. And there's a lot more out there now Amazon is a great way to look for books, and you can just type in the search father-daughter relationships, and there's a lot of resources out there to help. Self-improvement for yourself will improve your relationships, I promise. Spiritually, teach her how to pray. Teach her how to have faith. There's so many teachable moments in your daughter's life that you can share spiritual beliefs. I believe that in our role of teaching them how to be independent, it's also not only emotionally and physically, but spiritually. Teach her how to have a relationship with God herself. Give her her space as she gets older, but raise up the child in the way you want her to go. And they're not always going to go the way you want them to go. But that's where your trust comes in. And that's where you value your daughter and you show her dignity and honor and respect. And when you show her dignity, honor, and respect, she will have dignity, honor, and respect for herself. So always be involved and engaged with your daughter. Ask her, how did her day go? How did her tests go? Like, just be involved. Ask her about her friendships. Be there. Engage with her. Be interested in things she's interested in, because I know sometimes it's kind of awkward when you have a daughter and she's maybe not into sports, but you can find what she's interested in and become interested and learn a little bit about that, and it'll help you to connect with your daughter. Be that teacher and an example to her in every way, in how you treat her, in how to live a life that's productive. There's healthy and unhealthy relationships, and maybe perhaps you're listening and your daughter's older and you feel like, I've just failed, I've messed up. It's never too late. Again, go to her and tell her you're sorry and ask her for a second opportunity. Ask her to forgive you and explain you did the best that you could with what you knew at the time, but that you really want to work on yourself and on your relationship with her and have a better, healthy relationship. It's never too late for that. You, as her dad, have a role and a unique voice. Use your voice to lift her up. Tell her she's beautiful, not only on the outside, because we all think our children are so beautiful, but on the inside. Let her know that you think she is a beautiful person on the inside. Teach her how to demand honor, that she deserves to always be honored. And most importantly, teach your daughters that it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. Even when peer pressure is so strong, even when social media is so tempting, teach her that she has a right to say no for things that are not comfortable and not right for her. Let her know she can always come to you. She can always count on you, and that you will help her up. You will take those moments and make them teachable lessons in her life. And as I wrap this up, I just want to share something. Never, ever stop saying, I love you. Yes, she may know that you love her, but she needs to hear, I love you. It is just so important and so healing for the healthy relationship of your daughter and for her own self-identity and her self-esteem to know that her daddy loves her. So make sure you take every opportunity, even if it's right now. Call, don't text. Call your daughter and say, I was just thinking about you and I love you so much and I'm so proud of you. And I hope you know that I'm always here for you, and just see how much that means to your daughter. And if you have multiple daughters, then call each one of them. I hope that this episode has encouraged you in some way. If you're a father and you have a daughter and maybe she's becoming a teenager or a young adult and you feel awkward, do not feel awkward. You are her father. You don't change. Even though she's changing, your role as her father doesn't change. I still look to my father the way I always have, and my daughter, and I'm in my 50s. And I'm so grateful for my father in my life. And I know that your daughter is grateful for your relationship with her. And I just pray that whatever relationship status you're in right now with your daughter, if it needs healing, that you can bring healing to it, because it's your responsibility to bring healing. Next week, I have an episode that is going to be releasing for Father's Day, and it's all about forgotten fathers. So maybe you're a father who was never able to have children. You don't have a daughter, but maybe your daughter's in heaven and you're still grieving and you miss her and you just don't know that it's appropriate and that you can grieve. I encourage you to listen to that episode. It's going to be episode number 36, Forgotten Fathers. And I just hope that it will bring some healing to your hearts. And until next week, I'm sending you all peace, love, and joy. Thank you for listening to Life is a Treasure podcast. I'm Michelle Durand, and I'd like to personally invite you to join us and continue the conversation in our free Facebook group, Life is a Treasure podcast. The link will be in the show notes at lifeisatreasure.com. You can also find my social media links on the website as well. Please reach out to me and introduce yourself. I'd love to hear where you're listening from and what your biggest takeaways have been. And as we begin to share our secrets, our stories, and our struggles, we find that others can have the courage to start sharing theirs. And this is how the healing process begins. So please help us spread the hope and the healing to others by subscribing, reviewing, and sharing this podcast. And make sure to tag me on Instagram at Michelle Marie with 2 E's, Durand, Durand, with hashtag Life is a Treasure podcast for a chance to get a shout out on the show. And also visit lifeisatreasure.com for all the resources and freebies mentioned. We believe that everyone is equal and worthy of healing and unconditional love. And we promise that if you invest your time and energy to do the inner work, you too can transform yourself and create a life that is a treasure. So you can live authentically, love unconditionally, and laugh wholeheartedly. And until next week, peace, love, and joy.